interesting one because I'm just trying out a new format in that I've changed my my orientation of where the camera is. So I'm going to just put it down a little bit. So this week, what I wanted to do was just really talk for. So this is my studio. If you're not familiar with it, I'm Marky P. I've been a broadcaster stroke DJ on a radio station called Cruise FM since 1983. So quite a few years. But I'm also a technologist, as in my day job, I present technology and I talk about the latest network, the latest technology, the latest gadgets and so on and so forth, but how it can actually help businesses achieve a number of things. But what I wanted to do today was just to go through a number of things about, for instance, technology and my own mental health journey. And this is an interesting one because the mental health journey is a strange one. So around about 18 years ago, probably 19 years ago, I had a problem and a challenge with my own mental health. One of the biggest problems was that I denied almost that I had an issue. So what I decided to do as a tech mentalist was somehow try to work out a way around it. And what I meant by the way around it, I wanted to try and say to myself, you've got a problem, you need to sort it out, what are you going to do about it? And I had absolutely no idea. So what I decided to do is I decided to say to a few of my mates, I've got an issue, got a problem, I can't work out quite what's going on, what do I do about it? But nobody could really help me at the time because I think they didn't really know. And the thing about it is that when you are in a situation where you are trying to prove that you don't have a problem, you try and find an escape. So let me just post this up live. Gradually as this gets better, I'm going to start to post it up on socials and so on and so forth. So normally what I'll do is I'll do this via OBS, but I'm doing it via the phone because it's interesting. I've been watching a few of the series from Laid Back Luke about using the phone. The phone has actually become very much a hub of all communication and everything, and even to a point of DJing as well, which I'm going to touch on because I've got a number of devices here as well. You can see my my small, it's not small but it's big compared to the others, RX3, which I did my radio show with today, so I'm going to come on to these in a second. So this is the thing with timeouts on screens. Mentalist live. So what I'm doing is I'm just posting this up on Faceache, on Facey as they say in the trade, and let me just put that on here and put the link in and paste and return. There you go. So just post that now. Right, okay, so hopefully we'll get a few on there. The good thing is about having it on YouTube is that what I'll be able to do is I will be able to people will be able to watch it back. Right, okay, so let's get it on. Right, so mental health. 18 years ago, 19 years ago, I found that I had a problem. I had problems growing up. You know, this is going to be quite personal in a sense, and it was quite frustrating because I thought to myself, oh, you know what, I've got to do something about it. Life is going to change. Life did change. We had our son when he's now coming up 18, and I don't know why I just wouldn't admit it, that you know I had a problem. And it wasn't until one of my colleagues actually pulled me aside to say, what you're doing is you're going on a journey of self-destruction. you know, you are being quite bitter, you're being twisted, you're shouting and snapping at people and so on and so forth, and it's impacting everybody around you. So you are that big stone that goes into, imagine it, a big stone that goes into a lake, and then it starts to create this wave, this ripple that goes out and then affects everybody. Because everybody in your wake or around you will be impacted by it. So imagine, just pick up a stone or a pebble, drop it in a pool, and then watch the ripples go out. And just imagine that, you know, everything you do, you know, it could impact other people that are actually in your life. So that kind of still resonates with me, that, you know, if I do something bad or, you know, do something not very nice, what tends to happen quite often, you know, you get that, oh my God, what's going on moment. How is it going to impact other people? There are a lot of people out there who go, I don't really care. Fine, that's absolutely fine. But for me, I do. As a worrier and as somebody that suffers with mental health, I worry about how my actions will impact others. So anyway, I did decide that probably going back about 5 years ago, after a long journey in mental health, being okay, being not okay, admitting that it's okay to not be okay, you know, going through a number of rejection things, not within my own family life, because my own family life is brilliant. You know, I don't bring that personal stuff to the likes of YouTube or social media as such, although I do post some lovely pictures of our family on trips and days out and so on. But, you know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realise, and that always happens. Anyway, so mental health tablets helped me become more in control of my feelings. It kind of put a shell around my brain, and then you know, it enabled me to, you know, just get on with things. But I had no emotion almost. It was almost like I felt like a Vulcan. So the mental health bit didn't really help me be emotionally connected to everybody. It actually protected me, so it was a shell. So if there is ever anything where people say to you, oh, do you know what, you know, go on medication, it'll help you out, and then others are saying, no, don't go on medication, you need to do it homeopathic, whatever it is, whatever medicine you take, if it helps you, but first of all, reach out for help. Reach out. Right. Technology, right way along the way. Technology. Music. Being able to use technology to kind of like take me to another place. You think about it as well when you watch a film. So I've got goggles that I put on, connect to my phone, and I can literally just blinker the world out by watching something like a film or something like that as well. I've been watching the Marvel series, Loki, that sort of thing, and I love those sort of things because I do love my Marvel and I love my sci-fi. But sometimes what I need to do is I need to be in the zone where I'm spinning tunes. And somebody, you know, as a technologist, and an AV audiophile, I do like my audio as well. What I found that I wanted to experiment with different types of DJing technology, and the DJing technology I go from, and I have different scales of stuff, so I'll go through the ones that I do and what I've used them for. It's interesting that the legend that is Laid Back Luke is using a small controller with his mobile device, and it's not because, you know, it's like for him it's very flexible. There's AI based programs now that you can run on your mobile device that you can connect up to this. And when I say AI, and I know you're going to get people going, oh God, AI, it's that AI. AI is going to be in everything. AI is already in your mobile device. If you've got a mobile device, most people have. You know, these devices are IoT devices, Internet of Things. They're an of things type device because they've got technology in them and so on and so forth that allows it to, one, be tracked, two, tell you where you are because of the GPS stuff, but also other stuff. And the other stuff that is actually they talk about is, you know, such as DJing programs. So having music programs on these. You know, if I pick up my my iPad, you know, on my iPad, you know, I've got my office could be on this iPad. Right, it's the Paradise Garage, by the way, if you didn't know. It was 84 King Street, it's now been knocked down. but I managed to go see it just before it was knocked down. You know, so for me, when I actually look at all of these things on here, I actually think to myself, this is quite amazing, because this device allows me to do a number of things. And what I mean by that is, when I actually look at the DJing element, I can go on and I can go to Tidal, for instance, and I can pick a load of music on Tidal. The Tidal element in this case, you know, has allowed me to stream from the cloud when I don't necessarily have to take a memory stick. You know, so I do have, like under here, I have a number of memory sticks. In fact, I think my memory sticks are probably, yes, I've got a memory stick. It's not a memory stick as such, it's actually a hard drive. And I plug this into the devices, and boom, you know, I'm away. So I've got a terabyte drive there. So I've got pretty much all of my music on that. I have replicated it, triplicated it in fact. What I'm also able to do as well is, with my iPad, where I might be, you know, watching a film, I've also got the ability to actually spin up a deck that's on here too. So I've got DJ functionality. So not only am I able to do my emails, not only am I able to do my, you know, watching movies, but also what I'm able to do is I'm also able to DJ. This particular one, I'm using Tractor in this case. And to, what makes it even better is that what I've got is I've actually got an audio interface for it. This is actually a Tractor mixer. So in this case, what I can do quite quickly is I can plug this into my iPad, and then literally it will light up and then away it goes. So what I've got here is, this has got an audio interface, so I can plug that into a system speakers just on one of the channels. I can do my hour set, whatever set it is. 9 times out of 10 it'd probably be a short set if anyone wants to risk put me on air for an hour. And it just means that I've got an option. And I did a gig with one of these. I literally went to this gig. This is about five years ago. Actually 4 years, no, it was 5 years ago. I've had this 5 years. So 5 years ago, and this was a mini mixer. It allowed me to output to the system, and I used a program on my iPad. And that's like a wow moment. So I've got these interfaces here, this interface. So it's one of those. Made one of those up, and then literally, boom, away I went. So I've got this Tractor on my iPad, which was a nice big screen, but I can also, if needs be, I can run a DJ program on my phone as well. So technology in that sense meant my escapism was, I was sitting there with my headphones plugged into this, and I was mixing literally on here. Now there's no like wheels that you could manipulate, like as in there are on this. And I mean by that, you know, these wheels here, platters, but I'm still able to play music on this. So that was one. Then I had a program on my laptop called Serato that I wanted to unlock and just try a few things, because there's some AI in there, there's stems. So I've now got a number of control. In fact, this runs on Serato and Record Box. They're two programs to DJ with. I've also got this Pioneer DDJ FLX 4, which also works on Serato and Record Box, but it also works on something called Algorithm DJ. Now, we're now starting to get a little bit more complicated in the types of devices we could use, but it also simplifies things, and I'll come on to it in a minute. So this is near enough a fully featured controller. It's a smaller version of that, but you actually do need a computing device like a phone or a laptop or an iPad, so you can connect to it. I've got all of the adapters. You plug this in into the iPad, you run Record Box on a laptop, you run Serato on a laptop. This will also run on Serato as well. And then what you've got is, you've actually got the option to use this device with a phone plugged into it. And essentially what you've got is, you've got a, you know, it's got proper jog wheels on it. And people like that. So That's one thing, and that's quite a big device compared to something like that. Why would you use something like this? Maybe you're on a plane, maybe you're doing a house party, and what you do is you do need, it doesn't have a sound card built into it, but you have to add like adapter leads to it and so on. And this one's actually got a sound card in it that actually gives you reasonable quality on the output. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad. So there's that slightly bigger device. There was this smaller device which actually does Serato. But also, when I actually looked at some of these other devices, we've already done the tractor one. See, a nice form factor. And I mentioned about the algorithm DJ one. Okay. Now the algorithm DJ one is interesting because what we've now got and what we're starting to see, we're now starting to see AI actually in these in the whole set. So you've actually got your jog wheels on here as well, so I can, you know, just load tracks onto this, and it's probably because I've turned the volume right down. So effectively I've got tracks on here that are on my iPad in the same way if I've got a computer and I've got tracks on there. But also what I'm able to do is I'm able to plug this into, for instance, down here. So this is a mix tour. So this is slightly different to that tractor device because this one's actually got more transport controls. The other one, so I've got my crossfader on here. I've got my channels, as in these. So I haven't got speed, but I can nudge the speed up and down. But what I've also got is I've got loop, sync, cue, play, and I've also got cue points on here as well. But I've also got fully featured mixer knobs on here. I can also scroll, find a track, load it onto a track, cue it up in the same sort of way. And again, this one has actually got like a sound card built into it. So the beauty of this is that I'm taking the audio out of this iPad. I've actually mapped a couple of features to it already, so that if I was mixing with stems and somebody said what stems is if you're mixing if you're listening to a track, 9 times out of 10 you've got the harmonics, you've got the vocals, and you've got the drum tracks. There's probably a load of other channels within it. And what you can do, I've actually set this up so that if I then press shift, I can then take out the different parts of the song. So in essence, if I just wanted a drum track on a particular track, I can take it out and then leave the drum track running in there too. So what we're doing is we're now using AI on my iPad in this program, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm DJing with a form factor that's really small, and that will go into a backpack quite easily. This will go into my work backpack along with my laptop, but I won't be using my laptop to DJ. I could use my iPad, or I have this also on my phone. So I've got Algorithm DJ on here. There are a multitude of programs, as I mentioned on earlier on. What I also do have is on here, I've got DJ2, I've got the Pioneer DJ app on here as well. And what the Pioneer DJ app means is I can pick the tracks on there as well and then plug this into something like this, my big mixer down here, my RX3. And essentially what I could do is I can use this as a memory stick and it will charge this up at the same time. This, if you imagine, can also be my phone. So I've got my phone as well. Also on here, not only have I got Tractor, I've got the new DJ app as well. And I've also got Serato Remote. So Serato don't do an app at the moment. But what they do is they do a remote. So if I've got Serato running on the laptop over there, I can actually use this for remote control on that as well. For instance, just making some noise on it or whatever it is. I mean, I actually found something very interesting the other day on the AI one, the algorithm one, in that I actually found I had it connected to something and it had a load of effects, as in, like, you know, you could do horns and you could add cymbals and hi-hats and stuff like that as well. And I thought, wow, so you could add those bits to it. So DJ for me has actually moved on from the days of the turntable, and I do have a turntable here. There is a turntable just underneath this, underneath that rubbish. I've got some CDs to convert, by the way. I went to a record store yesterday, and I got Club Fever 2006. So a lot of these like Ibiza stuff, and then I've got a Head Candy 2000, and I think that's 2008, that one. Balearic Beats one, so I'm loving a bit of Balearics at the moment. So, got to convert them. So yeah, so there I am with my program on here, and I've now got an option of what I can plug it into. So, somebody then said, and this is quite often the case, and you hear this mentioned quite often, well, you're not a proper DJ because you're not using vinyl. Grow up. Seriously, grow up. I've done my days on vinyl years ago. You know, I still have vinyl here. I collect it. What is the definition of a proper DJ? I think those that are kind of like started to be a DJ in the early years, what you'll probably for the late years later, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they're using turntables. I didn't think that there might have been people DJing before them. And the amount of times that people have said, oh, well, you can't be a proper DJ because you don't collect vinyl, or you don't. Well, I do collect vinyl. I do play vinyl. I have got vinyl. I have got special editions, but I don't want to take this very rare bit of vinyl out to a gig just to appease your ego. At the end of the day, I've done it. I've earned my stamp. And it doesn't matter. And it's not necessarily about vinyl. It's about the music. It's not about your ego. It's about the music. And I've actually said this all the time. And you still get people that say, oh no, you're not a proper DJ until you know, and that's the old vinyl digital thing. So, with all that in mind, I showed you those little controllers. Everything from the small one up to the large one here. But there's one thing I haven't mentioned. Standalone. So the thing is with standalone devices, and this is the same thing as, I don't want to use a computer. But what I'd like to do is use a device where I can, for instance, just turn up, power it on and play. With a computer, if you've got a fast enough computer, and this is actually running on Rekordbox here, that's fine. It's an M2 MacBook Air, it flies. It really does fly. But sometimes if I don't want to take computers out with me, what I can do is, just with a memory stick, I can plug that in there, and then away I go, and then I get all of my tracks and stuff like that on there. The problem is with that, and I've actually noticed sometimes that this, as small as it is in comparison to some of the bigger units, is still too big. So lately in the summer I've done a number of corporate gigs, and what I've ended up doing is I've got one of these. So I'm going to show you in comparison in size, right? So this is Denon Prime Go. So it's a Denon Prime Go. I've got a Mackie Thump battery powered speaker. So I needed to do a set which was up on a 15th floor terrace overlooking London, and health and safety, they wouldn't run power out there. So I needed to look at battery power or doing it sustainably. So I could have used my laptop with a smaller controller, but I thought, do you know what, why don't I try looking for a battery powered controller that I can actually do this and have access to all of the tracks I could use. So what you need in that case is you need a mixture of a battery powered controller and Wi-Fi and cloud. So there's three things: cloud, battery, Wi-Fi. Luckily in the location we had Wi-Fi access. Luckily I had a cloud account from Tidal. So I don't know if you heard of Tidal. Tidal is like an online streaming service, and effectively I use that once a month. I pay like $9.99, and essentially what I've got access to millions and millions of tracks. Oh, not only have I got that, I've got 40,000 tracks of my own, but that's actually quite specific because I've been quite specific in what I picked up. But what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted this functionality, but I wanted it in a smaller package. I didn't want to take a computer with me, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a speaker, a stand, and a wireless controller. And I say controller, it's standalone. And this is the Denon Prime Go. And as I say, it's interesting because I've got majority of the stuff I've got here is Pioneer. So I've got 2 Pioneers and a tractor unit and a mix tour, mix tour, and a Newmark. And this, for me, was a get out of jail card. Because what I was able to do, I was able to go on here, and as you can see, I've got my tracks on here as well. I'm able to very quickly select, go in here as well, select, and also load onto the decks. So what I can do very quickly is I can go on here, find a track. If I just pick, let's just pick a couple of here, Mario Biondi, you know how to do, and then pick something else, go browse. So at the moment what I'm doing is I've actually put a 64 gig SD card in. Now the plan is to upgrade that card to something bigger, but what I can do, because of the ports that are actually in there in the back, I can actually put my record box, memory stick, or battery, not memory stick, memory stick, look at me talking about, where is it? Let's see if I can dig it out. I did put it in here. Ah, yeah, there it is. So this is the terabyte tough SanDisk hard drive. It's an external hard drive. So I've got 40,000 tracks on there. High quality, and essentially that's a backup on my track. So what I can do with this, I can plug this in to an adapter lead. I plug it into that USB port, and then what I can do then is I can then pick the tracks that are on that. So not only do I have the card that's in here, as you can see now, I'm literally, you can see that moving. You can't hear it because I've got no speakers plugged in, if you notice as well. That's the only thing it hasn't got at the moment is wireless speakers, but I could quite easily plug in wireless transceivers because I've actually got one for my mic. I could actually get 2 and plug them into speakers. So effectively I've got wireless capability there as well. This is actually a Pro controller in compared to my little Pioneer there, because if you look at the outputs, I've got XLR outs and I've got XLR in for microphones as well, but they're actually dual sockets. I've also got a socket there that allows me to plug into my computer, but I have to use Engine DJ software, which to be honest is okay, but it's not as intuitive as what I have with Rekordbox. You don't get the same integration as you do Rekordbox, like in export mode. What you have to do is you have to do a lot more work to actually get Engine DJ to actually work for you. But the cool thing is, I've got this quite small, and I've actually gone, one of my friends, I was asked to go and DJ at a 50th. We built a playlist. I put the playlist on the stick, but I also created a backup in the cloud on my Dropbox. I was able to go to my Dropbox and then download those tracks, but there were some tracks that it didn't have. So I managed to, if I go on to, for instance, my sources, what I've got is at the top, I've actually got Tidal. So if I hit Tidal now, and it will just log on, and I've actually got a couple of playlists, and I've got, let's have a look, what are these playlists? Manufacturing, new playlist, let's have a look. There you go, so I've actually got, I had a couple of playlists actually on there that I created on Tidal. And what it meant was I could do that on my iPad, pick some tracks, make sure it's synced with the cloud, and come back. So the fact is that I have got the best of both worlds. I can play off of my SD card that's in there. I can also play off of my memory stick or hard drive that I plug into there, or I can play off of my USB connection plugged into my PC. So I've got a number of options that I can do. It just means that the simplicity of this, and bearing in mind, look, no wires. This one is battery powered, and this is the thing why I love this device so much. You know, I was toying with the idea of, you know, getting rid of this because obviously didn't need it. I don't use it. I've actually used this Denon to play out more than I have my Pioneer. So if I need to go out and I need to, for instance, I'll prep some sets, I'll have a number of tracks. So I've got a gig coming up next year that is quite relevant to one of the specialist DJs that passed away. We do it every year. I think it's Frog March. What I may do is I might just take a memory stick, but if you're somebody that likes to have a bit of comfort, take your own gear, that Denon Prime Go, yes, it was probably about 950 quid, I think it was. It's paid for itself because the gigs that I've done, it's actually paid for it. So all of my DJ gear now that I don't invest in any more DJ gear unless I'm actually going to get paid, because there's no point. And the studio, in a sense, here is like an evolution. So in the studio, I've got my studio broadcast piece, which is actually it's a Mac underneath. It's my broadcast server. It's a curved screen. This is actually my broadcaster monitor, so I can see what's going on. It's in screensaver mode. This is actually my blazers and jingles and adverts that I play on here as well. And essentially what I can do is, as I've set this studio up to be modular, I can come in and I can plug in any of these DJ bits of kit with the right adapter leads, right PC, right standalone system, right hybrid standalone system, and I can play. And I actually said that you're not necessarily building the studio around the mixer itself. You're actually building the studio around, you're able to come in and then just literally plug into the interface. I am going to update my interface, upgrade it, because at the moment I've got a 5-channel mixer that I've got there. With realistically, it's two stereo mixers, and it has a different and a microphone input, so it's classed as 5 channels. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get an interface so that it levels any of the inputs going in there. It just levels them. If I want to play vinyl on my show, then what I have to do is I have to use the big boy here, my RX3, because it gives me the ability to switch between the 2 channels. But that being said, it doesn't stop me from using this one, because I also have in here, I have an aux channel, and the aux channel allows me to also plug my turntable into that too. So the standalone units have more options for connectivity, and that's why the Pioneer XDJ RX3 behind me and this Denon Prime Go are pro units because of the types of interfaces it has. It also has, this one has a booth output and also a master output, well, 2 different master outputs. So I've got XLR and I've also got RCA as master outputs too. The only thing that's a downside to this, but if you're not really fussed about it, is the platters. But when I actually think about some of these other digimixers, right, if I compare this to one of the smaller ones, and if I pick the Tractor one, for instance, which again is still superb build quality, what I've got is there, look, that essentially is that bit in the middle. The difference is the computer's built into this, and also what I've got is the difference with this is that yes, I'm playing stuff on there, but if I want it, if I need it, I've actually got platters here that I can use just to manipulate the track. 9 times out of 10, depending on what I'm playing, it's just fade in, fade out. If it is a bit of house music or electronic music that's nicely synced up, then what I'll do is I'll then mix that in as well, and I can then literally either use sync as a alignment tool just to basically bring it in around about the same BPM, and then I can then just bring it in. So for me, again, having this sort of device where I've actually got the ability to nudge slightly and so on, and this has become very much a tool for me now. Whenever I do a gig in the summer outside, I take the Denon Prime Go because it's small, it fits in a backpack. I just rock up with a couple of cables. I pop my speakers up on stands. In fact, the plan is for summer I'm going to get a second speaker, so I'll have two Mackie Thump Go 8-inch. They're nicely punching above their weight speakers. They're battery powered. They last for 10 hours. So effectively I could do a 3-4 hour set outside. But what I'm also going to do as well, I'm actually going to get now as well in the summer. Probably I'll get something for Christmas. I'm going to be looking at doing probably a solar version. So I'll actually have like a solar pack, battery, solar pack, so that I can keep the Denon charged up as I'm actually spinning, and the speakers if needs be, so I can do a longer set. Because in the summer somebody actually said I did a Balearic Beats set and it's quite nice. It was, the sun was starting to go down but the power ran out. I think I got about 3.5 hours, 3.75 hours out of the Denon, which I was still very impressed. And bearing in mind it was using Wi-Fi, and you know, I was I was cracking out the beats. So techmentalism, do you see what I mean? How technology has allowed me to focus on certain things. My radio show that I do each week, which is the Paradise Sessions on Cruise FM, is from 10 AM to 1 PM every Sunday. It's old school to new cool, soul, funk, disco, boogie, black music. It's what we've been doing on Cruise FM since 1983, and I'm still doing it. But now, of course, it's via the interweb, so therefore it's available globally. And that's the best thing about the internet and social media. It connects people. There's a lot of negatives around it, but what I'm using is, we should all use it as a tool to connect for good, because that's what it's about. Thank you for your ears if you've been watching. I'm Marky P, the Tech Mentalist. I might do a Tech Mentalist Monday tomorrow, just basically on my journey this week as well, because I'm going to start to do a regular Tech Mentalist show each week now, and see if I can pick this up. Thank you for your time. Stay safe and stay tech mental. God bless. See you later.